Joining us now is Mr. Karl Schilling. He's the founder of the Advocacy Network. Karl, always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Don. Thanks so much.
Now, it's kind of interesting, Karl, with what's going through in the country right now, in the world right now. A lot of financial scams are finding their way back to the front.
Absolutely. You know, Don, the great unfortunate thing about scams is that they know no recession. So it doesn't make a difference what period we're in. In the Depression, Ponzi was Charles Ponzi was going great guns in the Depression. Okay, and so people are a little more susceptible. You know, the psychology of it. People are a little more. They want to get rich quick. They're worried about money. You know, so they're very susceptible to these kinds of things in these kinds of periods.
Well, it's kind of interesting because people are calling, scam calls about your stimulus money, scam calls about your bank account, scam calls about your tax refunds and that kind of thing.
Sure. Anytime the government offers something out, there's a great opportunity for the scammers to jump on it, and they'll mirror websites. They'll make it look like they're coming from the government. They'll call you for information. The IRS scam's been around forever. The IRS scam is now extended because because we pushed back the date to do taxes. So that's going to be going on for the next 3 months.
Well, this is what you do. You help people avoid financial victimization. What can you do to help people?
Well, Don, the most important thing is that if people are willing to have someone either do the due diligence for them, just to say, hey, we've saved people over $11 million now by doing due diligence for them. So you just say, hey, Karl, could you take a look at this? What do you think about this? We don't tell them do or don't do. We put red flags on them. We just warn people about those kinds of things. But there's a psychology to it, Don, and sometime we'll get a chance to discuss that psychology, how people can protect themselves so they see it before it even happens.
Well, you have a slide you wanted to share with us. What are we looking at?
First, you have the approach, and basically the approach, it's usually from affinity groups. It's usually from people who know you. It's somehow to make you feel special. It's a great opportunity and that kind of thing. Then the opportunity, they usually tell you the opportunity is usually versed in very high returns, very quick returns, no risk, free risk-free, guarantee. Once you hear that word, you got to run away because most of these things, as you know, Don, you can't use the word guarantee, all right? Especially in the investment world. So, and then what starts to happen is then people actually go into the fear of loss. This is where the tables turn, Don. If the fear of loss gets focused, and they're very good at this, if the fear of loss gets focused on the gain that you're getting ready to enjoy from the opportunity, if you're more fearful of that loss than you are fearful of the loss of your principal, you've now been had. Your greed button has been launched. You're done at that point in time. So the way to protect yourself from all of this is to recognize when people come along with special opportunities, you're not special, number one. Number two, there's no such thing as guarantees. Run away, and there's no such thing as no risk. There's no high returns with no risk, right? And three, recognize that your principal is always the most important factor. Can you survive the loss of all your principal in any kind of risk-oriented effort?
The Advocacy Network, check them out at theadvocacynet.com. Karl, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for your insight.
You too, Don. Have a great day.